What's poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game. Man, you already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices. The ability to settle in the life that has been faithfully set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So, before I get in the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great, and even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So look, the title of this video is going to be on the fact that y'all have to really understand as people how this old energy has basically kept people apart and separated and divided. There were ones out there who knew wisdom far beyond the years that could have helped us, you know what I'm saying, elevate as people. But again, they were made and forced to stay quiet, you know what I'm saying, not be able to project and speak out loud due to, you know what I'm saying, whatever insecurities or traumas they may have had. When you get to a space in your life where you're able to finally speak out and tell the truth, that takes you having to heal your own wounds, because when you don't, you know what I'm saying, it will be harder to speak out, you know what I'm saying, because you're always blocked by something, you're always counteracted by something, because it's going to be something in your way as far as a trigger. You know what I'm saying? And with that being the case, oftentimes there are people that be on the internet basically giving out information that people may take as good, but really it's just an observation from their mind of what they believe to be true for the world. And I honestly believe oftentimes that's where, you know what I'm saying, people get the most of their views at, because those people look at life in that way. And for me personally, I look at it different, but I feel as if the wisdom I have pertains to people and it's new. You know what I'm saying? But it helps people look at life different. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times they say forgiveness is only for you. You know what I'm saying? They say don't speak, don't talk. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to help a person awaken before their time. Listen, I get all that. I truly understand. But you have to think, like, some people were put on this planet solely to have the wisdom that they have by first doing the introspection and looking at themselves. While they were doing that, that was shadow work. So you will never be able to see that because they were going through it alone. But once they went through healing their own demons and traumas, they were able to have the voice to speak and give people knowledge that they otherwise don't know. That's like going to school. The only way you know how to become a doctor or a surgeon or a teacher is because you go to school to basically pick up a correct way to be able to teach people, or get the credentials needed to be able to teach people. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing when it comes to managing the first business, which is your life. Shout out to Nip, because I don't never want to take credit for what somebody else has said, or, you know what I'm saying, none of that. I always give people their credit. But again, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's like, that's the first business you're going to have to manage, is your life. And if you were told things that basically created an identity for you, instead of being able to create your own identity, without that wisdom and that game and new knowledge, you will not be able to understand how to create a new version of yourself, or the honest version of yourself, because everything you've been learned and taught was basically the insecurities and downfalls of the person raising you before. You know what you get what I'm saying? And it goes back and back, and that those information and you know what I'm saying, things that didn't fall through, call them curses or whatever, are passed down. And that is why I believe truly it creates a divide amongst people, because they're in this type of circle where they only know this certain amount of information, and in order to feel love, they have to stay in that box. If you come across anyone that speaks wisdom, that basically knows how to break free and become themselves, we do everything we can to make sure spiritually that they don't attach to that person, so that they don't figure out how to grow inside themselves. So it's the world, the universe testing you every day, you feel me, to see how strong you are. You know what I'm saying? To push you, to just test you to see, okay, is this person really about what they stand on? Or are they, you feel me, just wolfing and not telling the truth? Because if that's the case, when something happens that doesn't go your way, you'll be triggered and you'll get mad or upset because you're still in this egotistical, gotta have life my way type of mentality. And again, that is a part of the masculine energy. A lot of masculines only feel valid and win by winning. When they lose, they do not know how to take that in because they're not used to doing that. That is where they feel their lowest. But if you're a person that has worked through your insecurities, even when you lose, you win. You know what I'm saying? Because the ability to love yourself comes from within. It's just accepting yourself. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's like, it's complicated, but then it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I believe truly the divide amongst people has been something that has been created. That's why oftentimes when you like go to like schools or, you know what I'm saying, jobs, they make it to where you can't talk about religion. You can't speak on nothing as far as religion, because I believe truly those people were people who had wisdom to apply to life. But if everybody knew how to be themselves, then their system that they had wouldn't work and they would break out. You know what I'm saying? And then there would be no system to follow, and then it will fall down. You know what I'm saying? So if we make sure that people don't speak out about religion, then we don't have to worry about that. Listen, it's something that's very prohibited at jobs and in schools and stuff like that. You feel me? Because I truly believe that the people who had the game and the wisdom to help us elevate as people were made and basically threatened to be quiet. I have a few people in mind where, you know what I'm saying, that was done to them. May their souls rest in peace. But again, you know what I'm saying, it's now a time where that's being reversed. And it doesn't mean that, you know, the people who are used to power and control a certain way are going to fall down, because people are going to lead and go to where they're pushed to go. Just because, you know what I'm saying, you maybe backed off from controlling a company that you may have, for example, you know what I'm saying, and you go into treating people with respect. People that sense your energy will come. You won't have to push your authority. You know what I'm saying? It will be natural. But if you know that you basically grew in your business by pushing authority and using aggression and dangling stuff over people's head, if they choose to leave, you have to be able to accept that, because that's the world we live in. Just like that person in power control gets upset when they lose or when they don't have something. It's the same. You've operated your energy in that way, so you've also attracted people to you in that same way. You know what I'm saying? It's all about understanding who you are energetically. That is the power. You know what I'm saying? And being able to have a peaceful mind in this world we live in. Because again, energetically, it's being pushed. Because the universe, God, Allah, whoever you pray to, has power and control. You can't make that man change his mind, or the universe change his mind. You can't do that. And so it's going to push you, and you're going to go through karmic cycles and karmic loops and lessons until you understand. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel as if that's being taught to the people that are awakening maybe in a different time lapse than you. But that doesn't mean you have to stop giving information, wisdom, and insight, because whether they admit it to you or not, they could be taking that wisdom and that insight and using it to help themselves awaken. We couldn't all awaken at the same time, because it would be chaos. You need some people who still operate in that old energy, you know what I'm saying, to keep the equal balance in the world. If everybody just awoken at the same time, it would be so much chaos, because it'd be like everybody winning a race at the same time. It's hard to explain, you know what I'm saying, but it needs phases and times where people, you know, awaken and to what's going on at different speeds. Otherwise, we basically could raise ourselves. But again, that's why the moms or the parents are here before the kids, because they go through a certain set of lessons that helps them kid grow, because they are wise enough to understand what it took to elevate and grow past that. You know, it's the elevation of life, and it has to come in phases. But again, I feel as if oftentimes it's made to seem as if we can't talk, we can't give people who are not awake in the game. And I think that's a world where they really need it now. They really need the wisdom of being able to look at life in a different way, being able to believe in themselves, being able to understand and know, listen, with the wisdom and knowledge of a person that has done the work on themselves, as well as the universe included, it can help push that person to grow. And I just say that because I'm speaking from a space where I'm a mom and I'm raising a child who's not fully awakened, and because of that, like, my guidance and knowledge is important. They may not, you know what I'm saying, get it right then and there, because I don't need them to get it right then and there. That's like getting something microwave quick, when I know that life takes time. But I know that over time, what I'm saying will start to make sense because I've seen the changes myself, you know. But again, I'm just not nudging and throwing it out there and controlling. I'm basically knowing when the right time to speak. I know when the right time to react to certain things. Otherwise, I basically let them experience life on their own and let the universe do the rest of the work, which is basically letting them continue to do things their way until they get the consequences of doing it their way. And then they go back and replay the conversation of, okay, maybe someone taught me the game of how to do it this way. I'm going to try and see if it works. It's the same thing with school. When you go to school, you know what I'm saying? The level of things and knowledge that you learn is in your subconscious. You know what I'm saying? And it's imprinted every year. You got to think about it. Every year you go to school, you learn something different, but basically you're going over the same things. You know, so again, this is life school. I just feel as if this is put into school, maybe the kids could be more excited about learning if you're teaching them how to better themselves. You know what I'm saying? And you're teaching them how to understand how to be themselves, you know, in a world where school is important, don't get me wrong. But again, if you're a person that is motivated by life school, that's okay too. You know, you can't put it in a box to try to use that power and control. Like, again, listen, it goes so deep. But I'm just here to let people understand that sometimes people are put on this planet to speak, but at the same time learn their energy as well, so they know when is the right time to speak and when is the right time to not speak, because they have to protect their energy as well. But they're growing inside themselves, as well as being able to, you know, handle, should I say, narcissistic people. But again, I don't like to use that label because that would mean I'm narcissistic. I am narcissistic. Part of me is narcissistic, but I credit that because I know how to handle them. You know what I'm saying? I know how to outsmart them to be able to see life differently by also being myself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of narcissistic people live life basically by controlling and dominating and forcing what they believe to be true onto other people. You know what I'm saying? Without being open to the fact that, listen, it's a different way. I don't have to operate that way, but I don't know anything else. You know what I'm saying? So if the person is not understanding your level of understanding from what you went through, now is the time where you back off, because they're going to fight you. They're going to go and test you. They're going to go against everything you say. But over time, once the world starts to catch up with what you're saying, it's going to start to match up and it's going to make sense. And then you ain't got to say nothing. But life is going to explain it to them. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's the universe at play. Like, I don't care what you may have thought the universe, God, Allah, whoever you pray to was capable, but it's now time where he's showing its face. The universe is showing its face, meaning you will have to pay for your wrongdoings. Whether you want to or not, is you're going to get it back. And I think that automatic reaction is where people start to wake up a little bit like, oh, damn, I wasn't prepared for that. And me included. You know what I'm saying? So I truly believe that if a person is going against what you say, be quiet and stick to yourself, because they're growing at a different time speed. Doesn't mean they can't awaken. Oftentimes people think just because a person go against what they say, they ain't ready to awaken. I can't forgive them. They ain't never gonna learn. No, just let them be. Leave them alone and let the universe show them. You know what I'm saying? What is the truth? And they'll understand it at that point. Their pride is too high. They're not gonna come to you and tell you that, but they're gonna experience it, and then it's gonna be like, oh damn, it kind of makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And this is just for me being a mom. A lot of our children are basically mirroring to us how we were when we were their age. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta know how to handle it. And if you don't, because you don't know how to handle yourself at that age, then you start to go against them with your unhealed trauma, and they don't respond to that. They don't know how to respond to your unhealed trauma. They know how to respond to a different version of yourself that has healed. I promise you, you will get the results you're looking for if you heal yourself and come at them. Because if you come at them with the unhealed version of yourself, to an unhealed version of yourself, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. You got to come at it different. You got to outsmart them in something that they're comfortable with, and you'll get the results you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I think we were fortunate enough to be put on this planet to speak when we need to speak, and give people the knowledge when they need it. Because if you don't know something, how can you take knowledge from anywhere else? That's like if you don't read the dictionary, you might spell a word wrong and don't know how to spell it, and then you look at the dictionary and see that it was spelled wrong the whole time. You know what I'm saying? You need something to pull your education from, your knowledge from. And maybe it may be a person that has a certain set of knowledge that can be given, that can help people improve. It's not going to be microwave fast, because people don't learn like that. Sometimes it takes time to reprogram all of your learning and incorporate another way of learning. And if you just sit back and chill, you will see the results. But do not stop speaking. You know what I'm saying? Do not stop giving people knowledge they may have not otherwise ever known. You know, and some people will not like you for it. Some people, you know what I'm saying, will be envious to you for it. Oh well, ignore that. You done so much work on yourself. That shit don't even phase you. You know what I'm saying? You in this thing of life to portray a certain mission and a certain purpose, something you didn't ask for, but it was awarded to you, and you just got to play it out the way that it's assigned to you. Otherwise you're gonna reap karma, and I don't think nobody wants to get that, because it get rough and get brutal, you know. So again, speak, say what you need to say, know when to speak, know how to speak, give people the same level of respect that you would give anyone, and your words will matter. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's oftentimes better when you come at it from a place of not trying to control, just being the control, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm not begging, I'm not forcing it. You either going to choose to follow the knowledge that I have, not me, the knowledge and the wisdom that I've incorporated over life, and choose to, you know what I'm saying, see how the universe works in that way. And if you don't, then, you know, listen, some people are still stuck. They're not awakened yet, and that takes time, and they don't need you to force them to see it your way. You got to let them just experience it the way that they're meant to experience it. So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.